Blog Talk Radio.
Y'all shady. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to tonight's show. Today is March 9th, 2017. You guys want to say hi? Who on the line?
What's going on, good people?
That was correct. Willie?
What up, y'all folks? This is Willie Styles.
We had a good topic for tonight's show. It actually was brought up by one of our callers from last week's show. So if you tuned in last week, you already know where we're going at this week. For those who don't know, just hold on tight. We'll get there eventually. If you're listening right now, you are on blogtalkradio.com/GFT radio. If you want to chime in on the conversation, the phone lines open up at 10:15. Phone number is 657-383-1155. Also, you can live tweet us while we're tweeting live throughout the show at GFT4Radio. So look at several ways you can get in touch with us. Also, you can go on our Facebook page, look for GFT Radio. You can post questions on there as well as our own personal Facebook, so you follow us there too. Today we're going to kick off the show beginning with saying rest in peace to Notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace. So what we're going to do, guys? Are you laughing at me right now?
No.
I think they're laughing at me because, let me tell y'all, because
Don't do it.
Don't do it. You want me to do it?
No.
I'm not going to embarrass myself like that.
Yeah.
I shouldn't do that to myself. Okay, so to honor the late, great Biggie Smalls, what is your favorite Biggie song?
Mine is off the Life After Death CD. I'm gonna go with I like that
what
story.
Is it?
Niggas Bleed off of Life
Okay.
After Death. You feel me? Like he told that story he told in that song, like, you know, that could turn into a movie. You know what I mean? He broke that story down so vividly, that scene. Like, it was incredible.
Willie?
I'm going to have to roll with Who Shot Ya. That was one of my favorites. Actually, I had two favorites, that one and Juicy, but that Who Shot Ya was definitely one of my favorites because he really, like, and once again, you know, he told a story, and, you know, you got to love narratives that you can see from the lyrics. So, yeah, love that song.
Yeah, I would have to say Juicy is my favorite, but I also like the song with him and Bone Thugs.
No
like, you know I love Bone Thugs. That was one of I love that song, and I loved his verse on that song. It was just like when I hear it, and I even hear the hook, it makes me like, oh shit, and I get all psyched up in it, and then I'm like, I'm lost. I feel like I'm in there just, you know, all those days.
That song.
Yes, that was the Notorious Thugs was like, that was the shit. I'm sorry, like, that was my shit.
That's why Biggie my favorite of all time, for the simple fact that, you know, like Willie said, he brought his words to life. Like, his lyrics were so vivid. Like, you could see it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like he was telling a perfect story every time. You know what I mean? It's a shame, you know, that he lost his life so young, and that he really didn't get a chance to put out even more music. You know, so, because, you know, to me, he the greatest.
Yeah,
that Life After Death album, to me, that's still my favorite rap album of all time. It's one of my favorite albums of all genres of all time.
And like, even Juicy, you know, when you hear that song, you already know how everybody coming. Like, that was just, yes, that was that song. Like, come on, everybody know that. Everybody know that song. And as soon as that beat come on, you already know. Like, that it could play in the club even today, and I bet everybody on that dance floor going to know that song. Mm-hmm. If they don't, they're too young.
Mm-hmm. Word is wrong. Biggie was that dude.
Yeah, that was my good.
Rest in peace to the legend.
Yeah, that was definitely my shit. But All right, guys, we're going to wrap that up. Rest in peace, Biggie. You made Pac on the hip-hop scene. Your music still is there and very well alive. Like I say, you can play it now and everybody will know all the lyrics. So definitely got to give a shout-out to him. And he is truly missed.
Word is gone.
Are y'all ready to bring it into the topic?
Yes.
All right, so last week on this show, I believe that's Clint People Jabril, the other Jabril, as I like to call him, if he when he calls it to the show. He started off with, okay, it's okay. He started off with he asked a question about street justice, whether or not it's acceptable to deal with, to take justice out in the streets versus taking it to a courtroom. Clay, you want to chime in?
Yeah, I thought that was a wonderful question. You feel me? And I had to really think about it. I really had to ponder it. And, you know, I guess it's really coming down to should we just be vigilantes out here, take justice into our own hands? I think in some instances, you know, maybe, but I really don't think it'd be. You have to have order. You feel me? And I feel as though if we take that route to where we're taking the law into our own hands, then there won't be no order. And so, therefore, it'll just be more chaotic, more chaos. Now, certain crimes, though, it's like, you know, like when it comes to child molestation and stuff like that, I feel like you should hold court in the streets, man. Let that man, you feel me? Like, I have no pity for them. That's just what my perspective. Like, I have no sympathy for whatever happens to them, even as kids. So if you want to talk about street justice, taking it out on them, to be quite honestly, I wouldn't mind. You feel me? I wouldn't bat an eye. Them man rapists, you know what I mean? I lump them together. So, you feel me? That's practically my perspective from it. What you think, Willie?
So I kind of have a similar thought process behind it in terms of, I feel like, you know, we got to have order. We got to have some semblance of humanity, you know, to put people to trial, give them that innocent until proven guilty and all that. But there are certain situations that I feel that, you know, it's going to warrant that, you know, like you said, hold that court in the streets because, you know, especially in the middle. Now, you know, the one thing when you mentioned about the child molesters, the rapists and things like that, it was like I thought about how people are they're given you know, they're accused of things, and then they are ended up they're ended up, you know, falsely accused. So sometimes you do have to put them to court, but if you're catching them in the act, it's time for a beat down. It's time to take that out on them. So,
yeah,
that's my thought behind it.
Yeah, I agree too. Well, you know what I mean? I basically, like we said, basically comes down to order. You feel me? Because, you know, sometimes the streets talk. You feel me? I get, and I also I think he was alluding to those who are involved in particular activities. You feel me? Because that's really what it, you know, like there's no snitching.
What do you mean, like drug activities or like just like?
Yeah, like drug activities, cause
or gang shit.
Yeah, because you know, really when they talk about no snitching, that's really amongst them. That's the point. You know, it get lost to where when people think no snitching is you know somebody who has nothing to do with nothing. You feel me? Like they're not snitching because they're not involved in anything. They don't. You feel me? They can't snitch. You feel me? When they talking about snitches or rats, they talking about, you know what I mean, you was playing the game too. You was playing this foul game too. So now when you get called, you know what I mean, called on it, you wanna cave and throw everybody under the bus.
I can dig it.
You feel me? And it's like, nah, you know what I mean? Like that's what, you know, That's what I put when I made that meme for our IG page, that old Jay-Z line. I mean, like when he said, he's like, in the underworld we we police ourselves. You feel me? Like
right, like a code of honor. That's what it is. A code of honor. You in the streets with them, and you can't be out here trying to tell too. I believe the same thing. It's only snitching if you involved. But if you the general public, and you see something go down, then you need to tell. You need to let somebody know, because if you want your streets to be a certain way, you got to be able to control that as a homeowner, as a community member, as a citizen.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like that. It's too different. And I think when that snitching thing got so involved in rap music, I think people took it and ran with it and thought it meant like, oh, nobody snitch, nobody. Like that's not really what it is. It's like if you doing dirt, I don't care how trivial it is or what, but if you doing dirt and you interjecting yourself into that game, you feel me? Like don't, when things go wrong, don't try to throw the whole, try to hit the reset button. That's what you're trying to do, basically, at the end of the day. Oh, I missed, I ain't trying to, let me start over. Y'all can have all of them. Like, nah, you feel me? Like, nah, you played this game, bro. You feel me? There's consequences that come with this. You know what I mean? And that's one of them.
The only thing that's sad to me is that when people do, give up information because they're trying to protect their what they call it, their neighborhood or people around them, and they get caught in the crossfire of it, right? Because somebody finds out, like, oh, you told or whatever, or they consider that snitching even though it's not, and then they end up hurting that person or hurting that person's family behind it, and that's a sad situation there. It happens because some people, they just don't care. There's a lot of people out here, it's crazy. They don't care who they hurt or what goes down. It could be the most minor thing. I mean, I had a friend that his boy got hit with a bottle in the club, so he pointed the finger like, it's old boy did this, and the guy did eventually pass because of the injury that he took to the head from the bottle, but at first it was just assault, right? And they still retaliated behind that. So it's crazy how people processes are.
Yeah. And I always say, like when certain things, because like from this perspective, now how two different factions could be beefing with each other, and then somebody get caught in that crossfire, like a child or something. That done happened in my city a couple of times. To me, that's where, all right, if it's two different factions, two different gang sets beefing, and the innocent child get caught in that crossfire, you know what I mean? Somebody gotta own. Somebody gotta, gotta take that. You feel me? I ain't even talking about. You feel me? That's another form of holding court in the streets. I believe. Like, y'all got to correct that somehow. Who's ever responsible for that, that's on y'all. You feel me? Because now y'all done got this baby shot up, and that baby had nothing to do with anything. You feel me? And it's your fault. You just can't let that ride.
That's one of the things, like now, like what we know in the recent years. I remember back when I lived still on Stuyvesant, one of like the hardcore blocks of the area. There was this guy, he got out of jail. He'd been out of jail for a while. He told about a crime, and they ended up killing him in broad daylight. But even with that, like, even if you're not technically snitching and you're just telling the cops what happened, somehow his name got out there on the front page of a newspaper, and that's how they knew who told what. And that's how he ended up dead. So it's one of those things where even if you're not technically snitching, if you tell the cops that you saw something and there's no real police protection lined up, that's why people don't, quote-unquote, snitch now, whether they're involved in criminal activity or not, because your name get put out in the paper. Mm-hmm. Or not even on the paper. It goes on a witness list when you go to testify.
what to me it's a lack of respect. I think a lack of respect for the game. You feel me? It's like you know you're doing dirt, right? You know that person over there that's next door to you don't. So now you doing what you gotta do, but you can't put that person who don't in a predicament to where, you know what I mean, it's making their living situation awkward. You know what I mean? So now they got to look over their shoulder because they don't know what type of issues or type of beef you got coming in on. So, you know what I mean, if you respect the game, it's like, all right, you know what I mean, don't shit where you eat.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So do that dirt somewhere else in obscurity to where now you protecting yourself and you're not putting nobody else, you know what I mean, in unwanted or unneeded harm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if they have respect for the game, to me, they would do that, but there's none. So when there's no respect, it's like, I'm going to do whatever.
Right,
and then you have
then
you have this chaos.
Bro, I say they don't like you said, they don't really care about where they at or where they doing the dirt at. All they care about is themselves and what the come up that they're gonna have. They could care less about, you know, what it's doing to their own neighborhood or their own street even sometimes. So, you know, like you said, that mindset is just not right.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? It's like, you feel me? And this how it relates to you can't hold court in the streets if what you're doing is flawed. If your system is flawed, it's like how people complain about the justice system. Feel like it's flawed. Feel like the black man is being overly charged, or, you know what I mean, prison is the new form of slavery or whatever like that. So we have issues about how they handle business there. But then in the streets, you feel me, y'all not handling y'all business properly either.
Yeah, because there's a straight bullets fly. Bullets don't have a name on it. So if you out here shooting like you know how to shoot professionally, you shooting like most of the shootings that had current trend aren't by professional shooters. They're by people that have know nothing really about guns. They just know they want to be. They know what they see in the movies. So you over there shooting, can't hold the gun properly. You just shot somebody that ain't got nothing to do with nothing, and now they're dead. But if somebody's telling you now it's a problem, and exactly the point. You can't say, like, you better off saying, okay, this person did something to me, I'm going to kill them. Walk up to that person and be a man and shoot them point blank. Don't go into a crowded space trying to shoot them, and then you shot 5 other people that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Because and I always said this when it comes to gang life or drug life or whatever case may be, when you're in that type of situation, your lifespan is limited. You understand the consequences of your actions. If you're going to be a drug dealer, you're going to be in a gang member, your life expectancy is now short. So you understand that these things will possibly happen, and it's going to be retaliation on top of retaliation on top of retaliation. And it's like if other people getting involved that has nothing to do with nothing, and now the innocent people are getting killed because you don't know how to aim properly. You don't know how to hold your street justice in a proper manner, which doesn't harm innocent bystanders.
Mm-hmm.
Or kids that's just coming home from school, you know, because it's not just affecting you. Or then on top of that, I don't think these people think about their families, because then you got, like, mostly people got kids, got family that loves them, they grew up the right way, they just got sucked into the gang life, however it happened, or whatever case it may be, and they don't give a fuck about how their family feel. Like, they just say they love you, and then you got to beef with so-and-so, and you can end up dead the next day.
Let me switch it up real quick for y'all. Let me ask y'all from a different perspective, from a personal perspective. All right, we're all parents, right? So say your child was one of the ones caught in the crossfire. You know, how would you respond? Would you want street justice, or would you want justice in the court system?
I mean, I know personally I would want street justice, because I just know how my temper is. I just know how my mindset would be if someone I love, it don't have to be my kid, it could be my cousin, it could be my nephew, whatever. It could be just anybody in my family, anybody I care about that get hurt. I want immediate action. You know what I'm saying? So I know I'll feel like that's the appropriate response. You know, right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, you hurt mine, I want you hurt. You know, that kind of thing. I mean, do I want everybody to have a fair trial if it's unclear? Yeah, basically, I want to make sure we find the right person, right, to pay for this. I don't want nobody getting hurt. You know, I want them caught in the crossfire, and then the person that or somebody else get caught in the crossfire for the retaliation of it, but then it turned out that, you know, they had nothing to do with it. You know, I don't want it to end up like that. You know what I'm saying? No, you know, two wrongs definitely don't make a right. You know what I'm saying? But I know that if somebody caught in the act, caught red-handed, I'm going to feel like they need to be dealt with, you know, immediately, just because that's just, you know, that's just me. I can't help that. You know, that's just how I feel about the situation. Do I want somebody to die over anything? Not really, because, I mean, religiously, I just don't feel like everybody needs to die, but, you know, you need to suffer. Everybody needs to suffer.
Yeah. Well, my standpoint, like you said earlier, if you touch my child in an inappropriate way, either one of them, I could tell you right now, my ass is going to jail because once I find out who it is, I'm going to jail because it's not going to be no little court case or nothing. I could promise you that I'm gonna be locked up. That's what's gonna happen. Now, if it's something where it's a situation where my kid was out at like say if my daughter's coming home from school and there was a shooting and we don't know who did it, I don't want that person to, like, I wouldn't want street justice. I would want you to know the same thing that I felt. I want you to know that you killed my child. They ain't had nothing to do with nothing. I want you to pay to the utmost. Every time you have, if you were granted, what's it called, early release, and I can come there and talk, or I'm going to come there and talk. Because I'm going to voice my opinion because I want you to feel everything that I got to feel because my child not here or hurt. You're going to feel that. But if you touch my child, like in a rape or molestation or something, I'm going right to jail for first-degree murder. That shit was planned out and everything.
Well, obviously, y'all know I agree with both. So that goes without saying. I said I agree with both of y'all. You feel me? To me, it goes without saying. That's why I asked it, because street justice, when it affects us personally, when something affects us like deeply personally, I think everybody, for the most part, I guess, would want immediate retribution right there. You know, they don't want to hold. You know, something happens to like it only Willie said, it don't even have to be your child. Someone you deeply love and care about. You know, something deadly happened to him, you would want, and you caught that person red-handed right there, you would want to handle that justice yourself. You know, but in a broader sense, you know, when you take a step back and you get your emotions out of it, you see how chaotic that can get.
Mm-hmm.
Because all that's doing, again, is eye for an eye. Because now, you feel me? Because my mindset is like, you know,
I want to stone the bitch to death. That's how I feel like. If you do something, if you kill my child, you don't need, like, death penalty. You don't need to be sitting in jail, nothing like that. Like, put you out and we can stone your ass at the Bible time. But I want you to feel everything. But see, now check this out. This is what I'm about to say. Say my brother inadvertently did something to one of your kids, right? And you got caught red-handed, and you exacted immediate retribution because you were so hurt and in pain right then and there, right? Mhm.
How you think I'ma feel?
The same way.
Exactly. Because now I'm coming for you. That was my brother. At the end of the day, too.
But it's my baby.
Yeah, exactly. So like that cycle keeps going. That's the cycle. You feel me? That's something you have to accept. And Willie said it best. When you in that mode, when you that angry, you don't right or wrong. Right, Willie? right or wrong.
Yeah, exactly, right or wrong. You're gonna
right.
You're gonna react, right? You're gonna react. Your emotions gonna kick in.
Exactly. So like that's why when we talking street justice, it's like it's so much emotion that's going to be involved in that. It's like, is it really right? That's why I can understand why they say, that to go to the judicial route. I can understand that point of view.
Yeah, because then it can stop the cycle. That's true. That's
true.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that we also think about, though, that people also think about when it comes to that is, will the judicial route work? Right? Is it gonna take care of the situation? Is it gonna be right? You know what I mean? We see so many times people. I mean, I got cousins and friends and all that other kind of stuff where they've been killed or hurt and that kind of thing, and nobody ever got caught or nobody ever got prosecuted. Whatever the case may be. So there's these outstanding situations that you felt like, if we just went the street route, we'd have a handle, right? Where, we tried to go the legal route and it didn't work out. So it's sad, but it's one of those, another fact of life.
Yeah.
Now let me flip this on y'all real quick. So I was reading a few stories, reading a few things, thinking about this all. I've been looking at a lot of, I've been seeing a lot of different Facebook pages popping up or Facebook videos popping up with people, the fights in the streets, the people going at it because of one thing happened or whatever. The question is how far do you go, right? There was a video I saw, and there was the caption was kind of weird, but basically the gist of it was a guy caught somebody robbing his store, stealing something out of his store. So in the video, all you see is the guy beating the crap out of another guy, kicking him, stomping him, like throwing him around the back of the store or back alley or whatever it was. And you can hear him saying, like, you're getting this because you stole, or you shouldn't have stole this, or whatever the case may be. And the thing was, he was just beating on the guy like for a long time. Like the video was at least 4 or 5 minutes, and he was beating him the whole time. And you could see blood coming out and everything. And it's like, to the extent that he took that street justice, because he caught him in the act, so he knew who did it. How far do you really go? And is that the problem with street justice, is that sometimes people go too far?
Wonderful.
I think sometimes it can go too far. It's one thing to, like, you see somebody do something and you let them know that that's not about, like, they try to rob you or whatever case may be. Like this guy, he could have beat him enough to know, like, he's not going to rob my store or whatever the case may be, and then throw him out and let him, gather himself and keep it moving. That's one thing. But to just continuously beat somebody, like, at what point do you just say, like, what does that do?
Yeah.
I mean, after this, go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with you. I was just saying, yeah, go ahead. Finish.
Yeah, because after some point, you got to say to yourself, like, it's like fighting when you fought in school. You mind your business. Somebody try to pick a fight with you like a bully. Oh, blah, 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 and they keep messing with you. And then finally you just snap and beat their ass. Like, do you really got to beat their ass, like, all the way into the ground, or can you just knock them out real good and keep it pushing, let them know that? And once you knock them out and they on the ground taking a nap real quick, they know when they wake up that maybe you should leave that so-and-so the fuck alone because it just knocked shit out of me. Like, you didn't have to go hard and, like, really, like, bash your head in, but I just knocked you up real quick and I walked off and you understood at that point, leave me the fuck alone. So sometimes it's simple. It don't have to go far, because then you flirt with the point of you can beat somebody unconscious and then they can't wake up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or like even like I said this on I watched this jail show back on MSNBC, the jail show they always got, and the guy was locked up because him and the guy got into a fight over 5 hours. They fight over a basketball court. He knocked the guy out. The guy never woke up. So you kind of have to, like, it's one thing to say, okay, leave me alone, or punch them and keep it moving, but it's a whole other thing to, like, really, like, stomp them out for what purpose? So that you already knocked them out. They're not getting up. Keep it moving.
Yeah, I agree.
Same with Zimmerman. You want to take it there. Same with Zimmerman. You called the cops. You let them know that you thought this boy was whatever he was. You could have let it go, but you look and look what happened in that situation. Could it have been avoided? Absolutely. But what was that? That was street justice, according to George Zimmerman.
Exactly.
And a kid lost his life, and it didn't have to go that route. So you kind of have to understand the boundaries. And like Clint said when he made the thing about me, okay, so his brother did something to my daughter, and I killed his brother, then now he Uncle Blood too. When does the cycle end?
Yeah. And there's no check. Like, everything need a check and balance.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So, even the judiciary system has to be checked and balanced.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So in street justice, that's the one issue. Who's the check and balance? You feel me? And like we stated earlier, like it's no honor no more out here. There's no honor amongst thieves. So, go back to Willie's video to where the guy got caught stealing something out the store and the man just beat him relentlessly. It's like, damn, what was it that he stole?
Yeah.
You feel me? It's like, yeah, you want to send a message. You feel me? Listen, I'm all for somebody. You steal from me, you get your ass whooped. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all for that, but there is a limit. I'm not. You can't overdo it. You can't overkill, because then you go. Because then you go from being in the right to the now you're in the wrong.
Yeah.
All right, now you're being extra.
Mm-hmm.
You know how the saying go. What they said in the movie. The hero if he lives long enough, he become the villain.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? And that's the same type of situation. If you what I mean, you overdo it in the name of you're right in a sense that you claiming you're in the right, but you overdo it, then, like, are you really right? You feel me? Were you really just looking for an opportunity to beat somebody senseless? Was what he stole really worth it?
Yeah.
And then you ask yourself, well, what if somebody break in my house?
If somebody calls your house to break in your house, at that point, you either tear them up and throw them back out and call the cops, or at the end of the day, they came in your personal space. That's, to me, a house is different than stealing something from a store. That's different. I understand that that's your business, but that's a store. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, if they come in your house, that's a whole nother ball game.
And that's where things get convoluted, because now it's like, all right, that's cool, and over here, but it's not cool over here. So now it's like, in theory, now we got to come up with our own street law. We need a code of the streets now. Now we need a booklet. So in terms,
that's law. If somebody, that's law.
I'm just saying, but we talking about street law.
Yeah.
You feel me? You know about, we can't, if we go in that street law, you want to hold court in the streets, it got to be some sort of check and balance. Got to be some type of rules to it. And if there is no rules to it, then what good is it? You feel me?
Yeah.
We just out here eye for an eye on each other. At the end of the day,
Right, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is, right? And not even eye for an eye sometimes. Like I said, in that situation, I mean, he stole something, but to get beat to the point of he might be in a hospital now. Who knows? You know what I mean? You get hit the wrong way, you might die. Whatever the case may be, there's repercussions that people don't take into account when they do resort to street justice, especially in minor cases like that, where that person really just needs to go to jail. They don't need to, and for whatever number of weeks or months it is, whatever $5 or $10 thing he probably stole, he didn't deserve to end up in a hospital for whatever number of days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Some coaches will say he deserved his hand chopped off.
Right, yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, it depends on, you feel me? So, Like,
yeah, I mean, it definitely not. It's a cultural thing, right? And that was another question I was going to bring up was so there's two different types of cultural situations, right? So here in our country, most of the time, if something happens where something is if it's brutal enough, if you witness somebody getting raped or beaten or whatever the case may be, something like a child getting beaten or somebody getting raped or something like that, we always say, we would intervene. But I've seen news reports before or situations that come up in social media where they talk about how people have ignored it. I remember there was a case of a gang rape at I think it was at a high school. It was either at a high school or at a high school event or something like that. It might have been college. I think it was high school. Anyway, the young girl was getting gang raped, and the other people witnessing it literally stood around and watched.
Wow.
And I believe somebody who wasn't like in the vicinity, they called some attention to the situation, but there was like literally 10 or 20 people standing there, like a lot, not like a one or two, like 10 or 20 standing around watching it happen, but said not.
I think they're just as guilty.
Right, yeah, I think so. Personally, but it's like what happens in those situations, right? I mean, street justice took a awful turn there, where they didn't even hold the court. They just let it happen and let it go.
Mhm. And that's like that's another thing. People don't. You feel me? People don't got the balls.
People getting mugged in New York. I've heard that people in like big cities like New York and even Chicago and stuff like that have been witnessed being attacked, being robbed or whatever the case, and people walk right by.
Yeah. Sometimes, but the thing about that is the police will tell you, like, don't get involved. Just call us.
Don't call, though. That's the sad part.
Huh?
How about you don't call, though? That's the sad part.
Yeah, and that's the sad part, because the police will tell you don't get involved. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I can understand those type of, I remember the story my mom always tell me about back in the day. This dude and this girl was fighting. Right? It was actually one of her friends, her boyfriend was fighting. I guess her girlfriend's boyfriend was beating her up. So some dude came and tried to help her. Guess what happened? They both end up jumping him.
Wow.
Because the dude came in, he hit her. I mean, he hit the dude for beating on her. You feel me? Kind of dazed him or whatever. And she, she looked at him. What you doing hitting my man? And next thing, she started going on him. Dude came back to his senses. The dude like, I'm trying to help you out. Other dudes start beating on him. They just start jumping.
Wow.
You feel me? And she was like, that's what she learned then. Like, you can't always try to be a hero. You know what I mean? Don't go jumping. Yeah, because you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on.
I mean, you got to be cautious in those situations. I guess so many times that people try to get involved in situations, and then it's just not good. Like, you want to help, but you got to look at it like this. If the person in the situation don't want your help, the best thing you can do is be there for when they actually need help. Yeah. Other than trying to interject and help out, because stuff like that can happen.
Yeah, sometimes it's good. Sometimes, like, it's good to get involved. Like that, when you see somebody get raped, okay,
yeah.
like that. Like, come on now. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, come on. I can't. That's why I said all of them guilty. They all should go to jail for rape, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, they was a part of it. They supported it. They can't sit here and tell me they didn't. Because what type of human Like, what type of human would sit there and just watch somebody be raped in front of them?
Yeah.
You know? Even like, think about it. Even if you could test it, but you're scared to death, they might kill you. Like, oh, if I say something, they might kill him. You'll still walk away. Ain't nobody making you stand there.
Yeah.
You feel me? Just walk away. But you stood there.
Yeah, like that
even worse than me. Yeah, like it was acceptable. Like, come on, man. Like, nah. You feel me? A situation like that, like, nah. You know, like, I can't respect that. Can't respect that.
I definitely agree, though.
Mm-hmm. It's, you know, so that's why I like, you know, street justice. Like I said, when it touches home, you know, we'll tend when the emotions running high. You know, we'll all want to exact some sort of, you know, justice. You feel me? But, you know, it's always wise let cooler heads prevail. Sit back and analyze the situation first. Like both of y'all said earlier, you feel me? You want to know what's going on. You want to make sure you retaliate correctly. You know what I mean? If you're going to do it. Right. You feel me? You don't want to get nobody else involved.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You don't want to have nobody that's innocent. So it got nothing to do with them. You know what I mean? You don't get no wrong person. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot to it.
All right.
Well,
I got one more scenario for y'all. So I can't remember how long ago it was, but I want to say it was about 2, maybe 3 years ago. No, I could say that it might have been 4 or 5 years ago. Here in Detroit, we had a father pulls his son out into the yard, shoots him dead in the head. Turns out the son, who was, I can't remember if he was mentally challenged or if he had some other psychological or developmental disability. However the case was, he had been caught molesting his sister.
Oh, wow.
His sister?
So, his sister, his little sister, baby sister.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
what's your thoughts on that kind of street justice? I mean, he literally took it to the extreme by killing his own son. But what's your thoughts on even, you know, going to that resort with your own kids when these kids are the ones involved?
Really, that's a great question, Willie.
Yeah, wow. I won't even know what to say to that.
Good question. I can't. It's like, ooh, I can't even get. But you said he was mentally ill.
Right. Yep. He was.
And when they're mentally ill, they're hypersexual.
So, but yeah, and in turn, he really can't decipher if what he's doing is right or wrong.
Well, not necessarily. Well,
see. Then if the dad, this is why it's hard for me to answer this question like straightforwardly. Now, if you're telling me the dad knew that he can tell the difference between right and wrong, oh, you know, I brought you in this where I take you out. You feel me? Like, you know what I mean? I don't play those games, man. Like those molesting games, I don't play those games with nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. You feel me? Like nobody.
You can't stop saying nobody.
Like nobody has no limits.
Yeah, like I'm just saying, I got a 4-year-old daughter. Like, we all got kids. I'm just sitting here thinking like, ooh, like I can't even look my daughter in the face. She come tell me that, and me not. You know what I mean? So like that's like I said, oh boy. It's like I really can't be too mad at him. Like if you telling me he know his son could tell the difference, he wasn't that mentally ill to where he couldn't decipher right from wrong. But then you know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
That's a hard thing. It's a hard thing when you have. It's a hard thing because with some, their level of capacity differs. Everybody's not the same way. So like some can understand some things, some can't understand other things. So it's very hard to kind of decipher if he knew what he was doing was wrong, because you don't know. Yes, I mean, to know what his capacity is to know that that's wrong, but a lot of mentally challenged or mentally disabled people suffer from being hypersexual because they don't know, like they don't know, like they don't really, they're not fully aware of their body.
Yeah, we had this, not to cut you off, but we had this young dude around here back in the day. He was a little mentally challenged, and when he used to run, sometimes, you feel me, he used to run around, he used to just pull his pants down, pants, underwear, shorts, underwear, whatever. You feel me, just run around in the park, like right after girls. But like you knew he was, you know what I mean, like he was crazy, like he was really mentally, you know what I mean, like, feel me, something wrong with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he was really handicapped. But, so I agree with you when you said they, like, hypersexually act. Like, that's how they, you feel me? That's what they mind resort to sometimes. That's what
So, like, they don't understand, like I said, you never know what the capacity is of that individual kid because they're all individuals. So, my thing will be, what is he aware of what he's doing is wrong? And if he is aware, like that's one of the things they would have to do in court, prove that he knew what he was doing was wrong. If he did something that was harmful to another person, and that person has to live with that, whether he realized it was wrong or not. But that's where you have to kind of deal with it. And it's like, as a parent, I don't know how I would be able to deal with that, because that's something like you want to protect both your kids, because you want to know whether or not at this point you'll know if your kid knows better or not. But you want to protect them because they're not really there. And then your other child you want to protect too. But how can you protect the two kids and not have one feel slighted?
See, that's when that mirror. Exactly. That's when it go back to that mirror, because that father, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking. That's why I'm sitting here thinking. Like now, like the father really got to look at that mirror and ask himself, did he see any signs?
Yeah.
You feel me? And if he did see signs that, you know, that could lead to that, why didn't he take the proper steps to prevent it? You feel me? Because, you know, because now I can look at the dad sideways, like killing because you had a guilty conscience. Or did you kill him for the act?
Yeah, I wouldn't kill him. That's just a bit much.
I mean,
right,
you feel me?
Yeah.
But I mean, but he could argue. Like I said, we don't know what the dad really knows. So if he feels as though the boy did it maliciously, you know what I mean? Blood or no blood. You feel me? Like, you feel me? Right is right, wrong is wrong.
Yeah.
Like I said, those two things, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't budging on.
Yeah.
I ain't budging on molestation and rape. Like, I ain't, feel me? Nah.
No, I agree with you. I mean, that's not something, that's a hard pill for any parent to swallow, especially when you're all siblings, and that's, you gotta, like, that's something that's really, that you have to kind of, that's a hard thing. So I will feel for any parent that's put in that situation, because that would never not be an easy situation to be into, or be put into, at least, rather.
Willie, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Now, you know, in the Bible, it say, you know, back in the day, a wife was to cheat on her husband or something like that, she'd be stoned to death.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, you know, like adultery was, you know what I mean, punishable basically by death. Do you agree with that? Because in my way, that's sort of like street justice. That's like holding court right there. Like, oh, you come home, I see my wife cheating on me. Like, oh, you got to go.
Right. Yeah, I can't remember the exact scriptures, but I do recall reading about that, because there's a few things that are mentioned especially in the Old Testament, about acts that you have to take out upon a person if they commit certain sins, right? Between adultery, there's ones for if you kill a child, if you hurt somebody's goat, or their ass or whatever. So if you have certain things, certain punishments that are laid out in the Bible, and the eye for an eye thing actually comes from the Bible, right? There's in there that talks about the eye for an eye thing. So
like my practicing their DJ skills.
Say it again.
I hear you, Sonny.
Oh, I said it sounded like somebody was practicing their DJ skills real quick.
But yeah, so I think my personal thing about it is that in today's day and age, there's a place for all punishments, right? And so I don't believe that nowadays, the place for, or the punishment rather, for adultery or crimes like that, it has to be that drastic. I say leave it up to God to judge you as harsh as it needs to be judged in that regard. But from a right now, right here, right now, we're gonna have to argue this out. We're gonna have to, somebody gonna pay for this, in the relationship, or the relationship got to end, whatever the case may be. But beating a person, like I think I just saw another video, one of the videos I caught on Facebook. It was a guy who beat up the guy who was having an affair with his wife. Right, he was literally beating the guy up in the hotel hallway. I saw
that one too.
Okay, yeah, and then I think it was another case where the guy confronted the wife and the boyfriend. He had a gun and everything. I think he shot the guy. And I don't know what ended up happening, but basically, he decided to go at it at that, in that regard. You've seen people on Cheaters where they try to beat down everybody, whatever the case may be. So everybody has their way of reacting. You've heard cases of people going all the way to murder, murdering the person. So I think that there's a certain crime, and some crimes don't need to go that far. I think some people don't need to do the things they do, of course, but should we exact death on everybody for everything? I don't believe so. It's not that deep. Don't put that burden on your soul anyway, just because you that hot in the head.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. First of all, you feel me? Like, if I could first of all, I want to say I can understand why somebody can take it there. Me personally, over I'm not going to take it there, because at the end of the day, you just did me a favor. You feel me? Because now I can move on without you. You know what I mean? Like I'm the type, if I'm in a marriage and my wife cheats, back in the day I would think, I'm gonna do something to her and him. You feel me? Now that I'm older, like, nah, man. My uncle, this is a true story. This dude, a friend of his, was with this lady. She had left her previous relationship. She had kids or whatever. He ain't had no kids. Married her, took care of her, the kids. You feel me? Everything. Brought them up, elevated them up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Come home one day, all his shit on the porch. And she got a new nigga on the porch.
Oh, wow.
There. You feel me? Like, that broke him. You feel me? Like, he went crazy. Like, that broke him. So one day, my uncle, he coming outside. You see old boy walking up the street. You know what I mean? What's up? Old boy has like a gasoline thing. He's about to set the house on fire. The front door. So a bitch could run through the back. He was going to light their ass up. He was ready to go kill that whole family. Uncle stopped him. Right then and there. Stopped him. You feel me? Nah. Week later, seen him. Oh, man, I can't thank you, bro. Like, life is great right now. You feel me? I can't believe I was about to do that. Know what I mean? Females like he said he was a whole different person.
Wow.
You feel me? So he went from, you know what I mean? So you can see how that can break somebody. When they get it all to somebody, they love, they heart, everything, and then, you know, and like they break them. But, you know, if you can get past that, it's light at the end of that tunnel. You feel me? It's light at the end of that tunnel, so it ain't no need to even take it there. You know what I mean? Like Willie said, you know, there's levels to it. Like, you know, sometimes the punishment don't fit the crime. You know, like, so I don't agree when they say, you know, what is it legally called, crime of passion?
Mhm.
Because you know what I mean, I think that's, you know, but basically that's just you feel me, you taking justice in your own hands. You feel me? But I wouldn't do it.
Wow. I mean, you think, as far as kill somebody that did something like doing nothing, I ain't got time for that. You don't want me to thank you. We're done. All you gotta do is tell me that you don't want my ass, and I'm a ghost. I ain't got time to be having no revenge, none of that. Like, I don't give a damn. You don't want me, thank you, wasting my time. I'll be mad at you wasting my time, but, like, I'm not gonna be trying to exact revenge. You don't want me, that's crystal clear. You want me to make that clear, we're done. So that's how I feel about it, for me.
That's how my grandfather was murdered.
Yeah.
He ain't want the girl. He had left my girl. He was with another woman. He wanted to leave her, come back to my grandma. She said, no. If I can't have you, nobody can. Shot him down. You feel me? So, like, personally, you know, from personal experience, I could see, like, I know the depths of when, like, that situation could do to somebody, to where it could take them. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't dismiss that feeling. Would I do it? No. But, you know, that's one of those things to where, you feel me, do the punishment really fit the crime? You know what I mean? Should somebody really die just because they had sex with somebody else?
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? To where you could really leave them, and then you can go have sex with how many people you want to go have sex with. You feel me?
Right.
But, you know, when you invest so much into somebody and into a situation, like, you know, I can see it. You know what I mean? It happens. You know, and that's all part of that taking the law into your own hands type thing. Throw that out there.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. We are currently about to start our after show in like a minute, so we're gonna bring y'all into it right now. We are in the after show. That was a great conversation. So what y'all been watching the news lately? Oh, whoa! Before I start, I'm sorry. Let me give out the number again. Phone number is 657-383-1155. And if you want to tweet us at GFT_radio. Now, what I was going to say is, have you guys been watching the news lately and all the shenanigans that have been happening?
With what? With who?
Well, I'm about to say that's like everything.
Well, I mean, it's so much stuff going on. Well, I'm going to go to this point because we had this discussion last week with the comedian and her picture with her son naked and all that nonsense, and her being naked and stuff like that. What do you guys think of the Sierra family photo?
Attention whore.
Man. Right, exactly. Don't even get me started. I'm like, she know that girl just had went through all that craziness, and then she posts that. I for one feel like Russell, what is his name? Russell Wilson? That was his name?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that he for one should have stopped that nonsense. He shouldn't even been a part of that.
He's weak, really. He's weak.
Exactly, very weak. And then Future needs to go get his baby back, because that's some BS. I mean, everything was wrong about that picture. I mean,
because in this picture she had underwear on and her son had nothing, and he was against her belly, and then I guess Russell was behind her.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think everybody is, this whole situation is really coming weak to me. Everybody. First of all, I think, Ciara's just an attention whore. You feel me? She ain't got nothing else going on. You feel me? Her music career in the toilet. You feel me? Like, the only thing she got going on with her right now is Russell Wilson. And that she, Future's baby mom. One of his baby moms. You feel me? All she seems like she's trying to do is distinguish herself. You know what I mean? And she exploiting her son for more fame. You know, like that shit just weak. And then like Russell, like you as a man, you feel me? As a man, you know, like why would you even condone that like that?
Exactly.
You know, if it's just you and you and Ciara having a baby. So if y'all want to do it like a maternity pic, when you just behind her cuff and y'all naked, however y'all want to do it, that's cool. You know what I mean? But don't you know what I mean? Don't involve that other man's son just because it's for show and tell.
Because I thought that was a bit much, and as a mom, I would never. Like, it's all, and I understand as a parent, you want your other kid to be involved in your pregnancy, be involved in everything. That's great, but that's not the way. You could have took a picture with him, all of y'all with clothes on in that picture. That would have been better. Like, I just think at that point, you should have respected his. I know you and his dad got beef, but you should have respected that. Like, that's just.
I mean, that was my thing. If they could have took that picture, that same picture could have been done with a lot more class. You know, it could have been done with clothes on for one. You know, I don't even understand what they were trying to do with the pose. The pose was weird. You know, I think.
So you couldn't even see him.
Right, you couldn't see baby Future's face or Russell's face, and whatever Russell was doing, holding her stomach and all that kind of stuff, like it was just awkward. The whole thing was awkward. So I think it was all just for attention, just to try to, I don't know, jump on the bandwagon because what's her name, Jess Hilarious, she just did that shoot with her son. I think they were trying to do the same thing, and it was another epic fail. You know, I mean, Jess, when she did it, I think she. Again, you know, she should have had some clothes on. You know, her and her son shouldn't have been in that position for one. Her son didn't need to be on her while she's naked. That didn't make sense, especially as old as he is. I mean, I can understand she had another baby. Like, I think I've seen that somewhere where somebody's holding they're like 9 months old, and and both of them are naked. The bump is showing, all that kind of stuff. And you know, I'm like. It doesn't really mean much, but I mean, you got a kid that's like 7, 8, 9 years old, naked against you. That don't make sense to me. Like, just what was the purpose? You know? And I think, and this wasn't laying up with you when you made that baby. So why are you in that position with that kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like people didn't read. Well, she got backlash, but not like that comedian girl. I feel like she should have got the same. She should have dealt with the same stuff as that other girl.
But that's impossible. When people say that, I agree. I understand your sentiment, but that's impossible. Like, that's Ciara. Ciara got don't nobody know Justin Evans like that. Ciara got millions of people know her. So you feel me? Like, she, even though it's gonna be naysayers, it's gonna be more people that's for her than just because that she's just more well known. You know, it just more was so basically what her what her fame does, what the fame does for Ciara is instantly her a little bit. Like, yeah, she gonna feel some of it to you. You feel me? Like, trust me, she feel it. You know what I mean? Everybody.
I wanna.
You know what I mean? She getting blasted, but it's not gonna be to the level as with just hilarious because she's not that famous. So. Now you just don't. A lot of people, the Corey Holcomb thing, reason why he didn't even know who she was. He didn't even know she was a comedian. He really thought like, yo, I just thought this was some ratchet ass ghetto chick trying to be, you know what I mean, trying to be funny or just being ratchet. You know, he had no idea like this is she's a comedian and she is trying to be artistic. Like, that wasn't. It's like, you feel me? So that's how people look at Jessa Larian, not Sierra.
Well, I would love that during that phone call if Future called her. I want to know what he said. I want to know it all. He had every right after that picture, when it went viral, to call her and cuss everybody the hell out.
But that's what I'm saying, why everybody's weak, because I didn't even get a chance to get to him. He weak too, because if he wasn't, she wouldn't even thought twice about doing that. Think about
it. Yeah.
Then let alone put it out there for the world to see.
Yeah, she already acting like this. This guy been to take care of nothing.
Yeah. Huh? She basically told him in that picture, "F you. You're not the father. He's the father." You feel me? So it's like, everybody. I'm not even defending Future. You feel me? He didn't even come in my thought process when I first seen the picture. You feel me? I just thought the picture was stupid. Like, this is not. She just looking for attention. You feel me? She an attention whore. You feel me? That's what it is. You feel me? If can't nobody see that, I don't know what y'all looking at. Like, she's an attention seeker. She's an attention whore. She don't have nothing else going on. So, you know what I mean? That's what she's doing. Because if Future was mad, like, if they had some sort of, like, come on, she wouldn't even did that. She would at least called him. You feel me? So, like nah. Like, you can tell who wear the pants in that relationship, too, with her and Russell. Like, she the boss in that. She weak. I mean, he weak. That's why his first wife cheated on him. He said it the same way. Feel me? His first wife said the same thing about him. Man. I mean, like, come on.
Who, Russell?
Yeah. It's his second marriage. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's just too much.
That's just weak, man. And then oh, man. I just don't know. Her pictures are stupid, though. Like Willie said, it's stupid. At what point, like, people saying it's art. You know what I mean? Like, everything is art. But then again, everything's subjective. Art is subjective, so.
No, but I just feel like that's stepping over the line. Like, I would never, if I had another kid and went back to my house, I would never have my son naked with me and another man, or like, that's just weird and crazy. We could all take a picture together, but then nobody has to be naked and just be an extra. Like, y'all could take pictures with clothes on. I mean, maternity pictures, that's, you can take pictures with your belly out, with, the thing wrapping you, whatever the case may be. I just think that you could do that better. Like, you don't have to be naked to just take a picture and be happy and celebrate their new birth. That's just too much.
That wanting to show the nature of it, right? That's what it's about. It's about being the nature of it, the naturalness of it, and all that kind of stuff. But I think that
pull a titty out and breastfeed. You don't do shit like that.
Exactly. Right. But the whole involving your kids in a nude shoot, your older kids, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's not, it just doesn't fit. It usually is never executed well. It's never executed well.
And the people out there that's saying, why is everybody sexualizing everything? Like, y'all really don't act like it ain't, pedophiles and stuff looking at this stuff. Like, they do.
And not only that, think about that was your child.
Yeah. Or, but, like, come on, people.
I just look at it like this. Is it appropriate? If it's not appropriate for, all right, so people get offended by it as a girl and her child that's naked or whatever case may be. If that had been his, like, or something like where it's a little girl involved, it would be real different. I think it would be real different. If that was a female child, it would be different.
Yeah, but that goes to that double standard.
Either way, to me as a mom, that I don't care if it's my son or my daughter. That's not about to happen. No. And I'm saying that as a female, it shouldn't be a double standard. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's not. Nobody should be doing that.
I agree.
Like, they ain't no baby. They ain't no newborn baby. That's a grown-ass kid.
But y'all say y'all understand the purpose and all that. I don't really get it.
No, I understand. No.
I don't get the maternity shoot.
This is what I said. A maternity shoot.
Anyway.
No, a maternity shoot is to just basically have a picture of yourself while you're pregnant and enjoying your pregnancy. Not everybody does them, but now they're making them more popular. But whatever the case may be, that is just celebrating the life that you have created. I did a maternity shoot, but I had clothes on, and I had my child in it because I wanted her to be a part of that. But I wasn't naked, neither was she. It was what it was. But you did a celebration of your child. People are doing it now to just be, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They had taken it was meant to be one way, and now it's taken completely out of context. I think that it got lost somewhere in translation, and this is where we're getting out of this shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm out with you. I agree.
It was meant, something started out great, and then they turn and flip it and turn it into something different, and then it becomes, why do y'all even do that? It's not everybody. Not everybody is going around taking naked pictures with their grown-ass kids, because, we're not doing it. My son is 4. I'm not taking no maternity shoot while he's naked, I'm naked, and the dude that I'm pregnant by naked. That's just too much. You're not about to fucking do it.
I think that the kids, how they feel get lost in it. You feel me? They don't got no. They're the only ones in all of this that they don't have no say so. You feel me? That boy ain't gonna say no. You know what I mean, to his mom when his mom tell you. You feel me? He don't know no better.
Yeah.
You feel me?
He probably didn't want to do it, but he just did it because his mama wanted him to do it.
Yeah. And then all those, like I said last week when we was talking, and I said, this my child mentality. I mean, we all, that's our child. Yeah. You feel me? But we don't own our children.
Yeah.
We don't own, they're human. You feel me? That we're responsible to raise them, to give them the best we can. So when they go off in the world and leave us. You feel me? And prosper. You feel me? Nowadays, it's we treating our kids like they are property. And I'm not just saying we understand, society, that's you treating kids like they are property. That's her child. She can do what she want with her child. You know what I mean? The other girl, that's my child. I can do what I want with my body, with my child. Come on. You can do what you want with your body, but you can't do what you want with your child. Don't get it twisted. You feel me? Don't get it twisted. You feel me?
I think people just go out of balance with a lot of stuff, and it just don't make any sense. And like I said, I think people take stuff that's meant to be beautiful and celebratory and just take it elsewhere. With the nonsense, you have to have some type of common sense or something to let you know that something that you're doing is not right.
And then when it's when people, because I'll be in the little chat rooms, I'll be in the comments, and people be like, why. Because we talked about this, like you said, it was just a continual conversation last week. People be like, why y'all care so much? This, that. We don't care. You feel me? We all perfectly mind our own business.
And then you put that out there. And that's one of the things. You can't put something out there and then don't expect nobody to comment on it.
Yeah, you put that out there. So when we telling you we don't want to see
you and your child, you mind our goddamn business. It with my timeline.
Yeah.
And then, you can't say, well, ignore it. Whoever posted it, bitch, if 95% of my friends posting that shit, I'm going to see it whether I want to see that shit or not.
Yeah. Right. Keep it in your house. That's where everybody, everything, that's what I'm saying, everything not for everybody. So, you feel me? When you start doing that, only reason you put that out there for everybody is for attention. What else? You feel me?
Yeah.
Why?
Like,
y'all
don't tell me to mind my business, bitch. You put it out there, and I'm gonna say something about it.
Yeah, y'all trying to compete with Beyonce? Y'all trying to one up Beyonce?
No, Beyonce pictures was whack as hell. For her, her pictures was whack. I've seen better. That's irrelevant. We're not even gonna go there because I don't want to get jumped by the beehive. But you know, the pictures. Y'all know them pictures was whack. Them filters was whack.
Whether they whack was, that's not my point. Like going, you know what I mean, because he just likes her. That's not my point. I'm talking about you feel me? Like she had clothes on.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like she had clothes on. It's like so people like they trying to one up her, just be more relevant, be more extreme. Like if that's what it is.
I don't know, but I mean, people were taking naked pictures while they was pregnant without her, before her.
Yeah, but these specifically ones didn't drop until after.
Yeah, it didn't drop until after, but it doesn't. I'm not going to go as far as to say that they're copying her, trying to one up her.
Yeah, and who else has done it before?
I think Sierra was following behind the girl. I think Sierra was following behind that girl that just posted them pictures. But I just think, like I said, this ain't nothing new. This is just now celebrities are doing it, and I think that they're crossing the line, and because they're a celebrity, it's okay, and it's not. I don't think anybody, period, whether you're a celebrity or not, should be taking pictures like that with grown-ass kids and shit like that. That's just not good. I don't care if it's artistic or creative. It don't fly. You have to be mindful of those types of things, and I'm just like over this shit because it's all in my timeline. That's why I talk about it, because it's in my timeline. I can't avoid it if I want to. It's like not watching the award show, but knowing what the fuck happened to the award show because you didn't even watch that shit. Now let's get to Ben Carson before we close out the show. Quinn, you want to tell him about his ignorant comments?
Well, Ben said that the slaves were just immigrants that came here to work for low wages. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said. You know, and a lot of people got at him, especially from the black communities, because, you know, they start calling him a coon, this, that, and the third. We're not immigrants. You feel me? Slaves, we was forcefully brought here. This, that, they, you know, just coming at him. All right, cool. He came out and apologized, took the thing back, you know, and my thing is, why, you know, and a lot of other people who knew was like, why are y'all giving this man so much venom? You feel me? When what he said has been said before, and y'all didn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You feel me? The man y'all love and celebrate so much said the same thing. You know, said the same thing. And nobody, we love art. I mean, my president is black, I mean, this, that, you know, you feel me, this, that, and the third. You know, I mean, Barack ain't going to tell you he's black. You feel me? Y'all can call him that, though. You feel me? You feel me? Like, so I want to, you know, and then shout out to Yvette Carnell. You know, I had posted on my blog. She had did a little YouTube video. And, you know, she broke it all the way down. You feel me? She even showed the video of him saying it. You know, and she was like, well, why? You know, like, why? You know, and I guess that's the conversation really right there. It's not what was said. It's just like, why are y'all doing that there, holding him so much accountable on this end, but not accountable on that end? When you do that, you lose credibility. You know, that's what, basically it. Because if you're not holding both sides, if you're not holding somebody else accountable for what they say, when you know you feel the same way when somebody else said, well, then, you know what I mean, you're not being fair. Where's the fairness?
So I guess I missed the Barack Obama statement where he said it. What was he saying? Did he say it in the same context like what's his name?
Ben Carson. Basically, you know, but basically he was saying like, you know, Barack was like, you know, we're all immigrants here, you know, some of us, were brought here in chains, but we still called us immigrants.
Okay, so no, that's not the problem. So let me rebut that then, because now that one I remember. I remember the we were brought here in chains statement that he made. So he calling us immigrants in that method, because I've heard people make the statement of, how did they put it? We came over on boats too, but we were forced, or we didn't have a choice, or whatever the case may be. However you want to state it, you have to keep it in the context of what it really was, right? And I think that's where Ben Carson screwed up. It wasn't that he called us immigrants. That wasn't the problem. And I think that's where some people are missing the point. Because I've heard that statement too, where they were like, well, can't call us immigrants and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, I don't think that's really the main issue. The main issue is the context that he put the immigrant statement in. Now you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Now, repeat that again for me, though, one time, Willie, about the context.
It's the context, right? So he says we're immigrants, right? And so what an immigrant is the basic definition of an immigrant is someone who's come from one place and settled in another, right? Yeah. So the context of making that statement is, did you, when you came here, why did you come here, right? So these immigrants that he was talking about at the beginning of his statement, he's talking about people coming over there on Ellis Island, and he's talking about their whole dreams and all that kind of stuff. So then he says, there's these other immigrants that came over in slave ships. Now, if he'd have stopped right there, he might have saved himself. Mm-hmm. But he went so far as to say they had hopes and dreams of starting a new life here. Mm-hmm. That was his statement. And that's where he lost everybody. That's where he went wrong. Now calling the slave trade. Hold on one second. Calling the slave trade or calling the whole slave system a system of either migrate of global migration and immigration. That again is a misuse of the terms in the context, because you can't call slave trade a immigration situation or a migration.
That's my point.
Pattern like they're talking about in Texas. You can't call it that, because this was all forced. This was all done as an act of either act of violence, or act of war, or whatever the case you want to call it. But the thing is, or inhumanity, inhumane treatment of another human being. Whatever way you want to put it, it was not global migration. It was not immigration, right? So in that context of what you normally use immigration as. So if he'd have put it in a better term, or left it where when he said slave ship, stop talking right there, he might have saved himself, because he could have hid under the Obama statement. He could have been like, hey, I just said the same thing Obama said. We came over in slave ships. We're immigrants too. We just came over in slave ships. Whatever the case may be. But he didn't do that. He said that we came over with hopes and dreams of making a new life in this new world. That was his statement, and that's how he minimalized slavery to standard migration. Standard global migration pattern.
Yeah, but from the aspect I was speaking from, where I was like the people that that I seen that were upset, they were just when I mentioned immigrants, you feel me? They was just upset at him and Obama because Obama still referred to us as immigrants. That was the issue. And, that I've seen a lot of people have with Ben Carson. They had an issue with the fact that he still said keep calling us immigrants, because that's not factually correct. You feel me? Right. You can't be an immigrant in a place that you built. You feel me? There was no America. You feel me? There was no United States. That's the perspective I was coming from. That's the perspective. That's why I brought up Yvette Carnell in the video. You feel me? Because she was basically like, they came over here and they conquered this land, the British. You feel me? So this was whatever it was before. It was nothing else. And then they used us to build the land, to turn it into the United States. So we are native, just as they are natives here to the United States of America. Right. That's the perspective.
and I'm fine with them arguing that point, but I don't see a problem in saying in a context, in a statement, when they're talking about the fact that we were brought over in slave ships and bound and we were forced to come here. I don't see a problem with saying that in that context. I don't see it, because the thing is, he knows we were slaves. He's not taking it from the fact that we were slaves. Until Obama, he's not taking away from the fact that we were slaves. He was talking, and I mean the whole speech was a metaphorical statement that he was making, right? So he wasn't saying, "Oh, we weren't slaves, we were just immigrants." He didn't say it like that. He never said it like that. And anybody that reduces it to that missed the entire point of the statement. So I would definitely argue with them all day long that they just missed the point, and the teach their own, I guess, to how they want to interpret things, right? Because we all can't share the same views and viewpoints, but but Ben Carson all the way around. I mean, because Ben Carson has made that statement before, and has never really understood, for some reason, even though he's from a inner city area, he's never understood the black man's plight and the situation that has created the culture that we now live in, right? Created the situations that we now find ourselves in as a black people. He doesn't understand, and he's definitely
neither one of them do.
But you know what I mean. But it's not. I don't think it's the same. You know what I mean? I don't think I definitely know it's not the same. The statements between those two men is definitely not the same.
Well, people, if y'all want to check out for yourselves, go to YouTube. Her name is Yvette Cardinal. You can watch the video, see how she break it down. Y'all can judge for yourselves.
Yes, and definitely let us know on our Facebook page or through our Twitter at GFT_radio. We're about to wrap this show tonight. I want to give a shout out to somebody who tweeted us and let us know that they were tuning in. His name is @SkrillaRilla on Twitter. Yeah.
Skrilla G, what's good, baby?
Yeah, he's listening in, so we want to thank him for listening in. And all those who are listening in, but we just shouted him out because he tweeted us, so we had to give that shout out on air. We're about to wrap this show. Y'all want to give out y'all info?
Y'all know where y'all can hit me up at. On my blog site at akingstruth.com. Holla at me on Twitter at eTrentonGloomy. That's about it. You feel me?
Willie?
Yeah, it's Willie Styles. Willie Styles. You can catch me at williestyles.info. All of my Instagram, Facebook, everything is at Willie Styles.
And of course, I am Sunny_D on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. We find me on WordPress at unreservedlyme.wordpress.com. And definitely follow our website, gftradioshow.com.
JVO609.
Yes, JVO609. Get social. He everywhere. Look him up, too. He's not here tonight, but we definitely honor him, that he missed out on a great show, too. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to the other Jabril for the topic. He's tuning in to catch it later. Good night, guys.
On 7 days.
Yeah, good night.
I'll let y'all. Peace.
Why pay hundreds more in taxes and fees on your wireless bill? Introducing T-Mobile One, now with taxes and fees included. Get 4 lines for $40 each per month with AutoPay. Switch your family of 4 to T-Mobile and get a $600 prepaid card. It's kind of like a refund on the taxes and fees you paid to those other guys last year. Don't wait. Visit a T-Mobile store.
Top 3% of data users greater than 28 gigabytes per month may notice reduced speeds. Sales tax and regulatory fees included. Effective with February charges via prepaid MasterCard card. See store for details.
And now, insurance-minded speeches from Geico.
It's a common expression, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. However, what if the horse's mouth is filled with useful insurance tools? This is the exact case with the Geico app. Yes, the app is free and therefore a gift horse. However, look inside the app and behold, emergency roadside assistance, digital ID cards, bill pay. Get the Geico app. Look it in the mouth. Get amazing services. Thank you.